the people podcast of the DMV. It's not about you. It's not about me. It's about we and God we trust. Sir Rod and Lady Z. PTP.
Positive thinking people. Positive thinking people.
Good evening. Welcome. It's Let's Talk About It Wednesday. And I'm excited, like always, to come to you, and hopefully you had a blessed day and everything is well with you. So I'm excited. So the information I'm getting ready to share with you right now is I wanted to talk to you about the conditions of the streets. I'm a little over the top right now because I got a lot going on. As always, when I get over here, I say I got so much going on, and it's always true. I do. But it's always something in a positive way, me trying to do some positive things. My phone going to be ringing a little bit, so y'all bear with me because I'm trying to look out for some people in some situations. But I wanted to come and talk to you about the conditions on the streets. Let me answer this real quick. I think I'm on air right now, so all right. So what I'm saying is the topic right now. That was my daughter. I had to answer it because I always make sure that she's okay. The topic is the conditions on the street, and it's funny because my daughter, she works in a situation where they deal with a lot of the things that's going on in the street. And I had a conversation that I was supposed to bring up last week after talking to a very, very dear friend, family member, associate. I would call him, a mentor in a way, and a lot more than that. Many people call him Sko, but his name is Chris Evans. And he's from Old Town Alexandria, basically a family member of mine, and a brother who's been there, done it. And when I say that, he talked to me about some things that was just prominently placed in my head that I thought I wanted to bring to the forefront. And so it was just funny when I was talking with him. We talked about these things that mean so much to to individuals that are dealing with the street problems, the street issues, and the conditions of the streets is gotten out of control. So some of the things we was talking about was how has it gotten out of control, and he said something that was very profound to me. When he talked about what social media and what the television and the music and all of this is doing to our young generation. And a lot of times I would always say that it starts at home. Well, certain things do start at home, but how have it gotten so out of control? And when we think about it, it's what we're exposed to and what we're letting the kids be exposed to. Where are the kids learning about the carjacking? Where are the kids learning about bank robbing? Where are the kids learning about any of this drama? They don't learn it from at home. They don't learn this from at home. They learn this from the television, from Googling it. You can Google anything you want. And just think about this. When the kids are watching the news and they see one of their little friends that just got picked up for carjacking, right? And he splattered all over the news and everybody talking about this little dude, right? And this guy's getting all this attention and he's not getting no attention at home. He feel like, he'd have made himself famous. And we got to understand, even the news, even they publicize things and they're saying we're bringing you news, but sometimes they're creating the problem. Follow me. Now, like I said, Chris and I, we was having a real powerful conversation, and Chris was just saying, man, he was saying, he I can't talk about his life like what he's experienced and stuff. But the conversations he was sharing with me was just so profound. And I told him that I was going to make sure I give him credit for the conversation in which I was supposed to have last week, and due to some health issues and things I had to deal with, I had to postpone. And so even today, I just really knew it was profound that I come out and talk about these things at a point where we can start to make a difference. We got to pay attention to what's going on. I'm talking, this is in America. This is not just in a black neighborhood. This is not just in a low income area. This is all over the United States. We have to watch what our kids are being taught, and we have to watch what they're seeing. Let me give you a prime example. I'm going to tell you about something. So I saw one situation on social media where the teacher was talking about transgender uh, situations, and she had a flag and stuff all up in the classroom. Now, I'm not prejudiced against anybody. You be who you are. But you should not have things like that in the classroom where you're talking about this, and I'm talking about this to young kids. Kids who really don't even understand what really transgender really is. They don't really understand it. They don't know what homosexuality is for real, for real. A lot of what they see is through television. We got the commercials coming on where we got two men together, two women together. I'm not saying that that's right or wrong. I'm just telling you, I'm a man who be with women, okay? And I know that God made man to be with a woman, right? But at the same time, God also gave you love, and He said you can love whoever you want. That's fine. But in the school settings and in these areas where we got these young kids going on, why should we be trying to confuse them about who they are and what they are? A lot of kids don't know anything about their situation until they get into adulthood, and you need to allow them to be able to get into that process through a natural form of growing up and experiencing life. Especially as a child, you should be doing childish things that children do, and not being publicized over the news for trying to shoot another kid and the gun jam. And then this young guy is being talked about, and he's about 13, 14 years old, as if he's Elliot Ness or somebody, or some kind of gangster moving around in the public. We got to look at what's going on. The conditions of the streets. The conditions of the streets is not set at a level where these kids are just coming out here and saying, okay, I'm going to try to carjack. They are learning this behavior through the process of the media, what we expose them to. Now, technically, I guaranteed if they started doing things like having public beatings and chopping off people's hands and things of that nature for committing crimes like that, believe me, there's a lot of them kids wouldn't be doing it, because they don't want to have to deal with nothing like that. But they're in a position where they're not having to be accountable for their actions. We making excuses for a 13-year-old shooting another 13-year-old. No, you don't. See, we got to get to a point where we understand that we are responsible for their actions based on what we are allowing them to see and experience. We got games that are being given to our little kids at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. They're showing you that that the kid is learning how to shoot an arrow to kill a bunny rabbit, or shoot a gun to kill another man or woman, or how to blow something up. I'm talking 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. If you have a child sitting down and they're doing this on a regular basis, what kind of mind do you think that he's developing? Where do we think these kids are going to go? You think they're going to run for president, or they're going to want to be a truck driver, or a postman, the mailman, or a fireman or something like that? No, these guys will start thinking, hey, I can get away with it. I can get a gun. I can kill me somebody. They think like this is some kind of badge of honor, because this is what's being projected to them. The conditions of the streets is something that we have to pay attention. We need to look all around and be responsible. And a lot of us, I'm talking men who've already been there, done it. You got to step your game up and get out here and let these young guys know going to penitentiary is not like going to college. And we got to let these kids know, you know something? You don't want to throw your life away at 13 years old. When I was growing up, I had mentors all throughout my block that I grew up, 500 block of Payne Street and in Alexandria, okay? And I'm gonna tell you, every man on that block was like a father to me. Every man. And many times when I was doing something wrong, they would reprimand me and also would give me knowledge about moving forward. A lot of us are not receiving that. And back then, a lot of us didn't have television. I saw a little kid that he wasn't even a good 2 years old. He was crying for the phone from his mother, and his mother gave him the phone, and he knew how to navigate through the phone. And he wasn't even a good 2 years old. Okay. And here's a fresh mind being targeted to be able to spaz out because he wanted a cell phone. Do you understand what we're doing? The conditions of the streets is based on the things that we are allowing our kids to see. I'm talking from all levels. And it's imperative that we as individuals start to have the media be accountable for what they are exposing. I've gotten to the point I really don't like watching the news in the morning. What I want to do is I want to hear about the weather. And that's it. Because I don't want to hear. And you can tell me about the traffic, but I don't want to hear about Johnny Blojo that he shot little JoJo. I don't want to hear about that. I want to hear about the kid that's getting straight A's in school, who's decided that he wants to be a professor teaching people how to cure cancer and come up with a way that we can stop poisoning the food in our environment. It's important that we understand that it is us, the media itself that's out there. Now, let me tell you, with people to people, power to power, positive thinking people, our agenda is to put the positive information out. I speak the truth. That's what it's about. And it's not just all about me coming on here to talk to you. I'm be bringing guests back in real soon. We got some major adjustments going on. But I'm going to tell you what we are. We got to think about what's going on. And let me tell you something. The media is just not affecting the children, but it's affecting us as well. We got so many of us that get hypnotized by the things that we see on a daily basis. I remember many years ago, if it was a tampon commercial, you didn't see the woman's body. You just saw the box with the name on it. Now you see them in their underwear. And we getting to the point that is making it so available for us to be able to see the wrong to try to make it right. The media show you the wrong that confuses many of us, even young and old, about what's right. And we got to get to a point where we be conscious of this. I'm telling you, it is imperative that we come together as a community in communities, that we start to have the media be accountable. And we talking about this when we going out voting with people. We got to talk about these things because it's out of control. You can't even go on the subway. You can't go on the subway without something happening or a kid disrespecting you. And you know something? It's worse than the Wild Wild West. If you ever go back and look at some old Western movies, can you imagine what it was like when everybody was walking around with guns? You was lucky to make it to 35 years old. You walk into a bar and everybody in there and hear somebody didn't like the way you look, smelled, or something that you said, you stepped on his boot, you looked at his girl, and he turned around and he talking about, do you want to have a gunfight in the street? And then back then, the thing was, if a man challenged you to have a gunfight, if you didn't stand up to fight him, then they looked at you like a coward. But you had the right to go out and stand in the middle of the street publicly and shoot one another. That's almost in a way that when I say that, now think about that. Back then, that was the way that it was being done. Well, what's being done right now? We're actually putting things on television and allowing these kids access to these things. I'm going to tell you what they should have. When you Google something, you should have a certain way of proving your age to be able to Google how to be able to make a bomb or how to shoot a gun or how to rob a bank or how to put yourself in a position where you can fix a car, even that. You should be put in a position where you have to have some parent guidance behind you. And we're talking about the mental health of the kids. Mentally, a lot of these kids are struggling mentally to survive on a daily basis. Kids who don't have food, kids who don't have somebody to tell them that they love them, but yet that they look in the streets and they see all this attention that they get when they go and carjack an old lady and stab her. We have to be careful. It is imperative that we pay attention to what the media is saying and what they're showing, what they're making available to our youth. Now, I'm going to tell you, when I was having this conversation with my family member, brother, friend, Chris, man, he was hitting some heavy notes with me, and I told him that I was going to mention his name because he was just opening my ears and my eyes to some things, and he was telling me, there's some directions that we need to go collectively to be able to address these issues, because he sees what I see and see what you see. The kids are out of control, and we got to do something about it. So what we have to do is we have to kind of sit back and hold the people that we're voting into office accountable for the laws that are being provided for individuals to do and be able to show and expose so many negative things to the youth before it is too late. We have to do something about this. The conditions of the streets it's just unbelievable. We're talking about, now kids that are 12, 13 years old that are carjacking, and they're doing it to joyride. And the bad part about this situation, that now when the kid come up on you and he's 12, 13, guess what? He think it's bragging rights for him to go back and say that he shot somebody. That's not good. So we have to be conscious about the media. This is People to People, Power to Power, Power to Things People. I'm your host, Rodney Grimes. Let me tell you something. I am literally trying to make sure that I reveal everything to you that you need to know so that you can see that it's imperative that we make a difference in what we do. Because the kids are out of control. They're out of control, I'm telling you. The kids are out of control. And it's through the process of what's going on with us where we are. Okay? Y'all excuse my phone ringing. I kind of keep it on. I'm gonna just cut the ringer down so I can just see when they call it. It's People to People, Power to Power, Power to Things People. Let me tell you something. It is up to us to make a difference. I tell you, when you're talking to your children, your grandchildren, your children in the house, find out. Don't talk at them. Talk with them. Get to a point that you don't go at them, but sit with them. Get to the point where you're not all the time talking, but sometimes listening. Get to the point where they'll be able to share their information with you so that they can talk about the things that's bothering them. Because the conditions of the streets is out of control. The conditions of the streets are out of control, and it's up to us to make a difference. Now, let me tell you something. You can be as selfish as you want and don't accept the responsibility. But we all are responsible. We all are responsible for the actions of what's going on. We all are responsible for everything that's going on in our community. We're responsible for what's going on into the homes and in the schools everywhere. So we got to be conscious of everything that's happening. The conditions of the streets is being led by what the kids are being revealed to, what we're sharing with them. We're allowing them to see freely. We give our kids phones and don't even really look at what they're looking at. And technology is so advanced now that we got people out here that can send messages. They can brainwash your child right through the telephone. We're talking about the games that we give them. We got to be conscious about how we go about these things, and we got to be careful, to make sure that through the process of us moving, that we are making sure that they know that we know that we're responsible and they have to be responsible too. It's all about the conditions in which we want to live, the conditions and how we want to grow, and the conditions for our future. Because the conditions of the streets is out of control. And we got to do something about it. So I'm coming to you, I'm going to be real brief today. I want you to think about this message. I got quite a few things I'm working on, and I'm coming at you. I'm gonna be bringing some guests in from all over the world. We just getting ready to do some things, but I try to be consistent to let you know that people to people is here. We here to stay. We're not gone anywhere. We're not gonna run out on you. No, that's not gonna happen. And going in 2024, we're preparing for some new things. So y'all gonna see me coming at you in different directions. The ones that want to ride with me, keep on riding, because guess what? We get ready to get on a roller coaster ride, up and down, all around. We get ready to hit it from every angle. We're gonna talk about the things that's really, really going on. We're not gonna camouflage it. We're looking at the public and how we're showing each other that we don't want to accept responsibility for what's taking place, but we have to accept the responsibility. I don't when my grandkids come in the house, I dictate what they see and what they watch on television. And if it's something that I think is inappropriate, they're not looking at it. And I hope that what I instill in them is enough that will condition them for when they are dealing with life lessons, that they know what to do, that will show them right from wrong. And I don't want my grandsons growing up thinking they're walking around with your pants hanging down, cussing and disrespecting your elders and the females in the street, that's the way to go. That going to jail is like a badge of honor. Let me tell you something. At one time, we had so many young guys, and we got them still now, that they think that going to jail is nothing. Oh, man, I can do that. Let me tell you, I talked to one brother who had went to jail, and he did 32 years. And he told me, he said, let me tell you something. He said, Rodney, man, these young guys don't know what it's like once you get behind the bars. It says a whole different language. It's a whole different walk. It's a whole different talk. When you go behind them bars, they not looking at you like, oh man, look at the little guy. They let me tell you something. If they hug you and they want to cuddle with you to tell you that I got your back, they got your back for real. They got your back in the way you ain't thinking for your young boys. And I'm sure it's probably the same way for the females. And one of the things that one of the brothers told me, he said, when the guys come in there and they coming in, and most of them start coming in there and they crying the first 2-3 nights that they in their cell, hey, guess what? They listening. See, now they don't have mom and daddy to protect them. Or they don't have a way to run around and hide when somebody's coming after them, because they're locked up. And now they're exposed to the real trauma of life behind bars. And see, if we don't prepare them, there's so many of them going to be confused, and we're going to allow them to lose their direction in life, go and get what we call, that's not no rehabilitation. I'm gonna tell you something. If you take a dog and put it in a cage and you leave him in there all day, soon you let him out, what do you want to do? He just want to take off running. All that energy built up inside of him. Same thing with our kids. We got to be careful what we letting them see. If you got young kids at home, have conversations with them and let them talk to you and tell you what they're thinking. Tell you what they're seeing, what they're being exposed to. We got to put them in a position where they know that we understand the conditions in what they're being exposed to in the streets, and let them know that we feel a sense of responsibility for them. And we want them to, I don't want a 13-year-old thinking that it's okay to go to jail for 10 years. For 10 years and he going to come home and everything going to be all right. It's not. And it's really, really sad for many of us that we have to go through these issues the way that we do. And we got to put ourselves in a position where we understand that we are responsible for what we are allowing them to be exposed to. They don't learn carjacking from the living room. They don't learn how to rob from the uncles and cousins. Half of them, I'm telling you, these things, you might got people in your family that do this, but very seldom is this is where that information is coming from. It's coming from what they're watching and seeing on television, what they're being exposed to. So it is imperative that we really, really have a conscious mind about what's going on. So it's really, really important that we understand the conditions of the streets is our responsibility. And for us to do something about it. Because, you know, something, if we don't, we're going to be a lost cause. If y'all can keep that noise down downstairs, I get people coming in and they talking, and I know y'all heard them, but I'm doing what I got to do, and just want to say, you know, it is our responsibility to do what we got to do. Okay. So just know the conditions of the street is our responsibility. It's people to people, power to power, power to people. I just want to tell you, I appreciate everybody that's been joining in. We've been coming here and there. I'm gonna tell you this. A lot of people saying, Rodney, you know what? You got to be careful about what you're exposing and get out here. Let me tell you what I'm going to expose. I'm going to expose the truth. The truth is going to set us free for the point that we're going to be able to become responsible for what's going on around us. In my neighborhood, where I go, I am one of the individuals who accept my responsibility. And I want to do this, and I want to do this so that I can make the conditions of the streets safer for us all. Because guess what? What happens today and what happens from the past affects us in the future. Just look at the way the kids are. We have to do something about it. We going into 2024 with a whole different direction on things. Y'all just ride with me. You know, I'm in the transition process of doing things on a different level. When I come and talk to you, these things here, I just want to get off my chest because there's so many of us out there that are thinking the same way. And we care about our youth. And let me tell you something. Go talk to the mayor. Do you know that you can go talk to the mayor anytime you want, for real, for real? A lot of people think that it's hard to talk to your congressmen. It's not. You can make appointments to talk to them. You put them in office, they have the obligation to listen to you. You want to talk to the chief of police, make an appointment. Because guess what? In 2024, people get ready to start going for different levels of individuals to have them to be accountable for their positions and actions. Because the conditions of the streets is based on them as well. So it's imperative that we pay attention to what we're doing and what we're letting people get exposed to, mainly our children. Do you know, even yourself, if you watch something over and over and over, it becomes a part of your thinking. It becomes a part of your mindset. We got a lot of people that become very selfish because they see selfish things all the time. Well, you know, if you're around a lot of people that's cussing, after a while you start using profanity. Same thing with the children. The children are seeing things outside of our control. We got to watch what your kids are being exposed to. And we got to take the responsibility to step in when we should, to say, this is not good for them. I tell you, what we get ready to do, we got a different programs that's going on. We got Unfiltered by Demetrius Gooding, The Good Fight. We got TEP TV that's giving us exposure to be able to, you know, to get information out and to show positive things in different programs. We got Lesson Learned that's out here. We got so many different programs in different areas. We got individuals that giving us counseling. We got people that's out here helping us with the getting our health back together. where your health is your wealth. The Coach Harsh Williams. We got foundations that's provided to help individuals go to school. We got all kind of things that's going on in a positive way that we need to really be getting out and enforcing and have our kids exposed to so that they can see that there's a better way than just going to jail and not looking at life like it's nothing. We should all want to reach 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 years old without having chains put on us and walking around like animals. So it again, the conditions of the streets is our responsibility. In my title, it said the conditions of the street. Who's responsible? You, me, us. We're responsible. Let's make a difference, please. And I can tell you, I'm putting it out there. We looking for sponsors. We looking for people to support this program. I'm not going nowhere. I'm telling you right now. You know, I'm on that roller coaster ride, and I'm riding it, and I'm going to keep on until I get to my destination. My destination is to make sure that we are the People's Podcast where you have a voice and a choice. Y'all can tune in Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Monday is Motivation Friday. Wednesday is Let's Talk About It Wednesday. And Friday is Date Night with Sir Rodney and Lady Z. We got so much coming. Y'all just bear with us. And I can just tell you, I am my brothers and sisters keeper. And one thing that I'm going to, before I go off, because I want to tell you something. See, a lot of times we don't know how important it is for us to take on the responsibility and be able to stand up and say, I can make a change. It's important for us to do that. And for us individually to have to do that, and we got people looking at you saying, who do you think you are? Why should I support you? Why? And who am I? I'm a person that care, and why you should support me is because guess what? It could be you be the next person that gets carjacked. It could be you the next person that they try to rob. It could be you. How many people you say, oh, this don't happen in my neighborhood? But guess what? It can happen right in your house. So, everybody that joined in with me today, I send you peace and blessings. Shout out to just the world. And let's make it a better place. Let us do things that's going to keep us moving in the right direction. It's people to people, power to power, power to thing, people. I'm your host, Rodney Rhymes. Yes, I'm short and brief. Got a lot going on. I just want to tell you that God is good. Shout out to my brother, Tap. Peace and blessings to you and what you're going through right now. I just send my love with you, bro. And remember, we talked about this today. Remember, when stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. That'll be a conversation another day. We got some other programs coming up. I want to talk to you about writing wills and making sure that you're prepared for transitioning. That's something I'm gonna get some guests to come on. We're gonna talk about those things. So y'all bear with me. We got a lot of things we need to talk about. Talk about family relationships, how it's disruptive when we supposed to be loving one another. We come in and actually like we don't have no common sense. Things like that. And it's in all it's going on all over the place. I've seen it so many times, even in my own family. We got to get to a point where hey, guess what? Look at the conditions and see who's responsible. A lot of times it's us.